From the hot-blooded teenagers in Twilight...
She smells fresh.
...to the hit HBO series True Blood, vampires are everywhere. The romance with fangs genre that Bram Stoker popularized in 1897 is bloody booming. The bestseller lists dominated by Stephanie Meyer's Twilight books, and climbing quickly at times to the top, House of Night, a hot-selling series that combines the otherworldly allure of vampires with the ordinary horrors of high school.
We made it painful and gruesome because teenagers are painful and gruesome. That's why.
At this Oklahoma bookstore, a rapt teen audience questions the women behind the series. They are mother and daughter, PC and Kristin Cast, 27 years apart, yet so close they finish each other's sentences.
She knows what I mean.
Yes.
Okay, she knows what I mean.
Unfortunately.
The appeal of their adolescent vampires has helped them sell more than 7 million books in 22 countries.
Everybody likes to experience fantasy. And it's a world that has so many other kind of boundaries than our world. And in our books, you get to have magic, and you get to have vampires that live 500 years and stay looking good, because I didn't give them wrinkles.
PC knows her audience. She spent 15 years teaching English to teenagers at this high school near Tulsa. On the side, she wrote romantic fantasies, even published a few, but never hit it big until her agent offered a suggestion.
And she said 3 words that changed my life: vampire finishing school. And I was like, that is a cool idea.
That idea evolved into the storyline that some teens are marked, the title of the first book in the series, and undergo a physiological change into vampires that takes exactly 4 years.
4 years.
Just like high school.
Just like high school. And not all the kids complete the change. Some of the kids
Die
horribly.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't change, they die.
They die, yeah.
That's a pretty stark ending.
Well, if you're a teacher, you'll appreciate that ending.
The protagonist is vampire Zoe Redbird, modeled after, you guessed it, PC's now 22-year-old daughter.
Zoe started out as Kristin when she was 16. Zoe Redbird is a typical teenage girl who is smart and independent. Man, she screws up. And she actually learns from her mistakes. She has a good sense of humor. She's a kid I'd like to have in my class.
Kristin's role in this family enterprise is one part editor, one part culture cop.
I help her not sound so old. She has a tendency to pop her 70s teenage hood in there, and it sounds awful. Or she makes them sound like they're 48, disgruntled school teachers.
And Kristin takes the axe to Mom's sometimes purple prose.
In the first book, there were 4 or 5 pages dedicated to how beautiful this lavender field was. I'm sure that it was the greatest lavender field in the entire world. However, teenagers don't so much care. It's purple, it smells nice, we move on.
The series is set in and around Tulsa. The authors took us on a tour of the places that fired their imaginations, from the imposing Catholic prep school that serves as the model for the House of Night finishing school.
This is their high school. They have classes. They have vampire sociology class.
They have a cafeteria.
It's just so beautiful, and it kind of looks like a House of Night to me.
To the dark and damp tunnels deep under the city's downtown streets that, in the books, are home to an entire breed of vampires.
What made you decide to write about vampires in a place like this?
Look at it. Creepy, coffin-like, moist.
But this part of Oklahoma is smack in the middle of the Bible Belt. The casts have run into some resistance with religious themes that draw on pagan and Native American rituals.
We're not preaching our religion or any other kind of religion. We're just preaching acceptance.
Religion to us helps to highlight questions of tolerance and acceptance and what happens when you're a little bit different and you're a teenager. And they're themes that are universal. We just have a pagan, matriarchal culture in the middle of the Bible Belt. And that freaks some people out.
Not to mention the sex. Zoe, the 16-year-old heroine, is seduced by a teacher and lusts after the quarterback. And some boys in the series have boyfriends.
Isn't being a vampire all about sex?
It's about sex and power and immortality and angst. See, they're just like teenagers.
Just like teenagers.
That's what they're all about.
And that teen angst, far more than the blood-sucking stuff, seems to keep young readers hooked.
Well, they just go through a bunch of drama with their friends and everything, so it's kind of the same, and you can relate to it.
If you go to high school or something, like, yeah, you're going to have sex, you're going to have people who are religious, you're going to have atheists and homosexuality and all that stuff.
On a Thursday night, a line snaked halfway around this bookstore, thick with teenagers anxious to meet PC and Kristin.
Thank you for coming to our party.
One critic called their novels Harry Potter with fangs. Their timing was impeccable.
I think that Harry Potter ended, Buffy ended, and Angel ended, and there was nothing there.
How has this series changed your lives?
Oh my goodness.
A lot.
Yes.
I'm not teaching anymore.
So vampires have been good to you?
Yes.
Vampires are very good to us.
The casts have signed up to write 6 more books in the series featuring Zoe Redbird and her undead friends. And needless to say, a House of Night movie is in the works, something else for hungry fans to sink their teeth into. I'm Chris Bury for Nightline in Tulsa, Oklahoma.